Sunico. Sige po. Una, CCP.
It's the anniversary of our employees organization today, so not really rushing. It will be better.
Ay, sayang.
Ganun pa.
We also have a language seminar at uni right now.
Sorry,
Why
naunahan
did
kita.
you agree for today's schedule? I'm like, it could have been scheduled another time.
No, it's okay. No
Sige.
problem. It's not really a major concern.
Oo. Uy, pati ito si Congressman Estrella. Kasama ka sa hearing ko. Halika. Hmm?
Sige, pupunta pa tayo sa isang plenary.
Hindi pa.
Hindi nga, pupunta nga tayo pa. May isa pa tayo.
Apat yan eh. Committee tsaka plenary ng Congress and Senate.
Tapos na kami dun eh.
Tapos na rin kami.
Raul, I really I want to have a logo, well, the Senate logo. How do we do a baybayin of the Senate logo? Yan. Ang pangit na
Baybayin.
aming logo eh.
Similar to that.
Maybe
Like the CCP has that, oh. Kasi what we can do is, Senate of the Philippines, pwedeng another space there of the baybayin. Pero baka masyadong cluttered.
The whole thing?
The whole
or
thing.
Just the initials?
Maybe just the initials. Kamukha ito, ang ganda eh.
maybe Mr. Almario would have this. Hindi ba
We
baybayin
have
isa?
You can help us.
the baybayin, so, if you just want the initials, then we can just have two letters. One for S and one for either P or F.
It will be the Senate logo in baybayin. Could you kindly develop that for us?
Sige,
From the...
we'll do that.
Okay. Because then ask Ivy to come here and to present to them. We'll have you approve because all my stationaries, I'm changing it to baybayin, na may baybayin on top. So I just want to make sure it's correctly done. But we'll get to that later.
Well, like in the CCP, Madam Senator, yun naman yung tatlong baybayin letters na yun, they're not CCP eh.
I know.
Oo. They are like, yung ano ba yung tawag doon? The good, the true, and the beautiful in Tagalog. So it doesn't have to be SP or something, but maybe what you stand for, like integrity or whatever, hindi ba?
Stability.
So let's start out by telling us what those three letters mean. Baka that's the question you cannot answer, but you can answer your budget.
Kaganda.
Hindi. Yung kabutihan.
Katotohanan. Kagandahan. The good, the true, and the beautiful. Kabutihan. Kabutihan.
The true is katotohanan.
Katotohanan, kagandahan, kabutihan siguro po yung good. The KKK. Anyway, Madam Senator, I don't know. Maybe we'll just scan through this because last year we presented more or less the same things. I don't know if you would like to, well, the vision. We have our organizational structure and our major final outputs. The first one would be the artistic excellence output. And we can just scan through this. These are the different resident companies of the CCP. The PPO, we have 2 orchestras, we have 2 ballet companies, 2 folk dance companies, 1 choir, 1 theater company, and 1 youth.
When you say resident companies, they receive funding from CCP.
They receive a subsidy in varying amounts
From GAA.
from
our budget.
CCP, and aside from the subsidy, well, they are actually small. I think the maximum subsidy we give is about 1 million something. Of course, the other one, the Bayanihan, it's not really a subsidy. We are only the conduit to the 5 million a year that they get from the national government. because they were proclaimed as the National Folk Dance Company of the Philippines. So they get a 5 million subsidy 5 million grant every year that passes through CCP, and that's part of the budget that we have.
I have a very basic question. Which agency of government is mandated to promote contemporary art?
Well, CCP also.
Cultural
because
Center.
We have
Not the NCCA, no?
NCC has a program along that line too.
It's a cultural center of the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Actually, we had a meeting, CCP and NCCA had a meeting not too long ago about the, not really the problem, but the issue of the overlapping of our functions. Because the CCP is still an implementer, and NCCA is, well, among other things, the funder. So there are some festivals, for example, that the NCCA undertakes that actually should be undertaken by CCP, except that we have to get funding from NCCA. Yun. But the one you were asking about contemporary art, whether it's visual, it's performing arts, or theater, that also is with CCP.
If the cultural center is mandated to promote contemporary art, why is it that we have been absent? I asked this question last year from the Venice Biennale since '64. Of course, you're aware that finally we are able to bring back the Venice Biennale, which I had to micromanage and ask for an invitation from Paolo Barata. I had to go there. I had to go to the Architecture Biennale. I had to course the funding through the DFA, through the Cultural Diplomacy Unit, etc. It's a long process, but the good news is we're finally going to the Venice Biennale, and there was an open call for curatorial proposals. I hope that you had read the papers, etc. It was a very long process, and we had renowned international jurors who came, including Mami Kataoka and Reno Prosh and Paul Pfeiffer, who's half Filipino. So we have presence. Very, very small, however, because we have very limited budget. So my only question was, from '64 to the present, why was there, I'd like to know, maybe there was an effort, but Congress never supported it. So, because I would like to write the history between '64 to 2014. Why we were absent. Was there any effort but not supported? Or were we never invited? That's why we were not there. Or there was never any effort, any interest, and that's it. And let's just put the facts together, because I would like to write what transpired in the 50 years from '64 to 2014.
So you're only talking, Madam Senator, of the Venice Biennale?
Just the Venice Biennale, yes. Of course, then perhaps you could tell me very briefly the efforts of the CCP for Philippine contemporary art. Yes, maybe just the Biennale first.
Well, probably, this is just my personal thing, because I've been with CCP for only 5 years. And I would surmise that perhaps we were not really proactive in that sense. Either we are not familiar with the particular event or festival, and as we all know, well, support for the arts has always been bumpy. So, especially after the Marcos years, when we were always trying to work for subsidy, for support, etc., etc. But nevertheless, in spite of whatever situation we are in, definitely we are more conscious now of these contemporary things, because we are we are always conscious of globalization, and contemporary art is part of being globalized. The thing is, our own output for contemporary art is not really enough. We have to be exposed, have to emulate arts from other regions.
In fact, I think it's booming now. We have so many great contemporary artists. We just simply need to and there are many art spaces now. I am very, very pleasantly surprised for contemporary. They have many great artists. So you're correct. Probably there was lack of support from government, and perhaps the CCP between '64 and the present never really requested for an invitation from the Venice Biennale. Maybe.
Well, CCP was established in '69. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's 5 years off the 1964. And
there was never any effort
when
to
CCP was
involve.
established before. I
Yeah.
think it was mainly a venue for artistic programs, and only through the years did it expand its mandate to be more
Understood.
outreaching. Not only as a venue, but also as a coordinator, a national coordinator for artistic events,
Yes.
and lately as an international coordinator.
Okay.
I think
So very clear.
And I think
Yes.
the CCP used to be on top of the museo the Museum of Contemporary Art that was in I think the Old Elks Club. The Museo Pambata ngayon. That used to be the Museum of Contemporary Art, and that eventually closed. So I think with the closure of that, there was a lack of a government agency that was specifically mandated to support the contemporary art. So hindi natugunan, no? But eventually, of course, also the Met Museum was active, but then that is a private foundation, no? So siguro na ano yan na parang na overshadow yung contemporary arts stream because of the closure.
Yeah, I share my little experience too. I used to sit as executive director of the NCCA, and I remember that during our time, we still consider the budget of the NCCA as very small when it comes to supporting overseas projects. And that is why what we did during the time was parang to prioritize projects for overseas things. And I don't remember encountering the Venice Biennale in our list. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So
It was not because the list was made by the committees. So people who are in the arts or in music would have their own list.
but this is the Olympics of contemporary art.
And
Yeah.
yeah. But I never encountered it in the list.
But just to invite all of you and
Yeah.
to assure you, I hope things go as planned. We will have presence on May 9 next year. No matter
Madam
how small.
Senator, sorry. I was just talking with Ms. Tess Rances, who was with CCP in the mid-80s, and she was telling me that as early as 1987, we were already invited to Venice Biennale, but the
87,
thing
what
is,
happened?
there was a problem of funding at that time.
When you say there was a problem of funding, did the CCP actually propose funding to the Senate and the Senate struck it down? But sabagay, I was not a senator yet in 87.
No, I don't think so.
He is the older member of the group.
She's not old because she's my classmate.
No, I don't think po it was that we had proposed budget to the Senate at that time, except that the budget of the CCP was very limited. In sending out the works, beyond sending the artists, which is easier to fund, the insurance for the artwork is also very substantial. And that at that time, the CCP didn't really have the funds to do so.
We had invitations already.
We
Would
did
you
have.
have in your records how many invitations we've had and we turned it down because of lack of budget? Because I'm just trying to reconnect from 64 to the present. I'm trying to write the history of what went on. If you have any copy of any invite from the Venice Biennale in recent years?
Yeah, I will have then to sa visual arts. Yes, we will have to dig out with our visual arts division for this.
Ito nga imbitasyon, inano ko pa, hiningi ko imbitasyon, nagpa-imbita tayo. I
But
had to.
I'm really very happy that Patrick Flores has been chosen to be the curator. That's very, very
And he
good.
was, it was a democratic, inclusive process. We did not appoint him. There were 16 curatorial proposals. After an open call was done through social media, through the traditional media, and there were submissions of Filipino curators based abroad. And all the leading Filipino curators had submitted very interesting proposals, if I may say. In fact, there was a suggestion of Mami Kataoka, which I support, that the top 5 or 6 curatorial proposals, because we were 6 judges, and we had a very difficult time in selecting the proposals because they were very good. And, well, eventually, we selected Dr. Flores's proposal, which is so interesting. If you would read it, and it's very relevant because of the West Philippine Sea dispute, and it's, how would you say it, it's research-based art. And it will have the restoration of the Genghis Khan film, which won in Venice in the 1950s. It will have a video art of a young video artist, which will be in conversation with the Genghis Khan, which will be West Philippine. I'm announcing it. And then there will be installation and sculpture of another art. So it's very interesting because it will be multimedia, and it's relevant to today's history, as exemplified through his art. It was a very good proposal. But there were other equally good proposals na nanghihinayang ako hindi makikita ng taong bayan because we don't have to implement the proposals, just the intellectual rigor that went into doing the proposals is interesting for the public. And so I was, Mommy Kataoka was suggesting, and I mentioned it to the head of the visual arts of the CCP, I forget her name, who, the lady? Yes, that maybe 1 or 2 rooms there can be set up for the 5 other curators who were not selected but who were very good and can talk about, parang may booth, to talk about their curatorial proposal, which can be adopted perhaps by other institutions and who can fund it and implement it. Maybe for Arts Month next year in February, it takes very little to, you have the space, the proposals are there. It is not an implementation of the proposal. It is the curators talking about their proposal in a venue in the CCP. Then people can ask. It will be interactive. It's just an idea. I'm bringing it to the attention of the CCP. You might want to entertain it because all these proposals are with us. The committee in NCCA, I think. Where is it kaya? NCCA? The proposals. And kami lang in the room, in the board of NCCA na nakabasa nun. I'd like to share it to the public, because it shows how advanced the Filipino curator is in terms of contemporary art. Beautiful proposals.
Actually, Madam Senator, we don't even have to wait for February because if the proposals are ready, we will be glad to accommodate these curators who were not chosen.
Yes. It's really up to kailang October na, budget season, because what I envision is it's not just having the curators and talk. If we need a curator to curate the 6 curatorial proposals. In short, it will be an installation. It will be an installation or conceptual or both art of the curatorial proposals of the 5 top ones. It's beautiful.
It will take a little time, in other words.
And funding hindi na, may space naman kayo eh. You can work within your budget. I'm sure the Visual Arts Department would have a budget. Because Mami Kataoka was willing to return. And I said, Mami, why don't you curate it? Because it was her idea. To be fair to her, siyang nagsabi, why don't you put all of this and make it 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, and it will be the art itself. In fact, we were even considering, because when there were ties in the judging, we were considering making that the Philippine pavilion as the art itself. So that's interesting. It would be interactive art of the curators talking about their proposals with their artists. It would probably take a few months, but I bring it to the attention. You are the experts in art. The curatorial proposals are with the NCCA. We will ask them permission only if the artists agree that it will be publicized. Maganda. It's also a good, magandang ituro sa mga would-be curators because nanghihinayang ako sa intellectual rigor that went into the works.
How long would you think this exhibit would be, these installations?
Which? The curatorial proposals? It's really up to you. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. You want it a week
or a month? I was thinking, Madam Senator, that I don't know how fully booked the galleries are.
Oh, the lady who was with me said it's available.
Okay.
We even selected a space when Mami and I went to the Chabet exhibit there. We even saw the space on the 2nd floor. Then she said, this is the right space, etc. So she said it will be available that month. She knows. We recognize and appreciate the presence of the Senate President.
Good afternoon.
Yes, he will add the budget you need. That's why he's here. Yun. O, tinan mo, sabi ko sa inyo, kaya nandito siya para doblehin ang inyong mga budget, lalo na sa archives, so, ang archives palaging walang budget. Ayan, yan.
Alam naman po ni Senate President na ang budget ho namin barya lang.
In fact, allow me to take this opportunity to invite personally Senate President and Mrs. Drilon to the opening of the Venice Biennale in May of 2009. For your information, I'm sorry, from, what did I say, May 9, 2015. We have been absent from the Olympics of Contemporary Art, which is a Venice Biennale, for 50 years. And in Venice, in Italy. And we are finally participating next year with hardly any budget. And I was just asking them the history of why we never participated. It's because the government has never supported art or culture. But now you have at least 2 senators, including the leader of the Senate, who supports art and culture.
Thank you very much.
So pupunta ka, mag-book ka na kasi fully book. Oo. At saka yun, halos wala. It's a DFA contemporary. Yes. The only time we participated was in 1964. Video art, installations, conceptual art, interactive art, research-based art, everything. Yes. And Dr. Patrick Flores, a curator at the Vargas Museum of our alma mater, was a selected curator. You'd be so proud. Not because I was partial UP, nagkataon siya ang winner. It was a very good curatorial proposal. So, anyway, we were talking about the CCP and their budget. Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
Okay, so we were just scanning through the different resident companies that we have. Okay, and these are the festivals. Of course, we have the Pasinaya. We have the International Jazz Festival, which we mount normally every other year. We have the Virgin Love Fest, which is an annual experimental theater festival. We have the Wi-Fi Contemporary Dance Festival, part of the dance for the theater of Virgin Love Fest. We have exhibits that we mount. We had recently the Salvador Bernal designs and Hugo Jonson retrospective. We have been giving awards, of course, the national
Excuse me.
artists.
For all your exhibits, I'm not sure that we know all of that all the time. Can we always be informed of all your activities and we be invited, each and every senator, because magkatabi lang tayo eh.
Okay.
Sometimes I receive invites, but like the, what was it? Kasi na slide. Basta para lang alam namin, so that we can drop by and support
Yes,
Salvador
sige po.
Bernal designs. That would have been easy to see
Sige po.
that.
Well, other than the
Yung Leon. Leon auction. That's a big one.
I want to see the art. Yeah.
where you don't spend anything. Yes, we have a bi-monthly calendar of events where these things are there. But if you would like
Maybe
to,
a more aggressive blasting of invites, even to
Okay.
students,
Okay,
to
we will
Congress, the congressmen, the senators, or chief of staff, para may active.
Okay. So we have National Artist Award. Unfortunately, we're still waiting for the conferment of the National Artist for this year. Unfortunately, yesterday we had a necrological service for one of our newest national artists who passed away a few days ago, Francisco Feliciano of Music. We had it yesterday.
Confirmed.
No conferment yet, so we could not give him the medallion.
What do you mean he has not been
Conferred.
conferred? He has not been conferred, but he has been proclaimed.
Proclaimed already.
Yes.
So we had the necrological service. Of course, we had to get the clearance of Malacanang for the necro. But the actual medallion, which is usually given during the conferment in Malacanang, was not given yet. Well,
It be done posthumously. It should
can
be done posthumously,
But
yes.
it can be done posthumously. So we have Cinemalaya Awards that's connected with the Cinemalaya Festival. We have 13 Artist Awards for the most promising young visual artists. We have the Gawad CCP para sa sining. It's our sort of counterpart to the National Artists Awards. Many of the awardees for Gawad CCP become national artists, but of course, it's not a automatic stepping stone.
Is this the Gawad CCP also for television? No, that's
No,
different.
It's different. This is
Does it still
for-
exist, the Gawad CCP for television?
I-
Sayang. I was a
Finding
recipient
pa
eh. A couple of times. Gawad CCP para sa television. Why not? So that we will see better TV shows para maengganyo naman sila to produce.
I remember
Oo.
we talked about it last year also. We told you that it wasn't existing anymore. Well, it's the same thing with funding, I guess. Because normally, of course, we have to have cash, cash things for cash components to have these awards.
When did you scrap the program for television? Tagal na. It takes, is it too expensive to revive it? It's only an awards, ano. Sayang naman.
We'll take it up during the artistic programs committee meeting.
Kasi ngayon meron
And there have been other awards also for television, right? Other than what CCP does.
Correct. But I remember as a young journalist and producer, I really appreciated and valued the CCP Gawad. Not that I don't value the other awards. I valued the CCP award very much.
Thank you. Well, we will take a look into that, Madam Senator. We have other services and productions. We have our guided tours for the museums and the theater backstages.
It's the Filipiniana Sunset.
This was done last year, where the marquee is along the front lawn of CCP. If you're facing CCP, it's on the right side where the marquee is for the events. And every last Wednesday or every other Wednesday, that was last year, we had for about 1 hour during sunset time, we had invited different folk dance companies to stage their free dances outside. Well, that's for the motorists and more or less about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yes.
And is the sunset the backdrop of this folk
Yes. Yes. Except that with the weather that is so erratic, of course, once it rains, it's yes. We have our cultural content. Well, we have an ongoing digitization program, and our online services. We have our encyclopedia project. Actually, it's a massively funded project.
Can we go back to the digitization?
Yes.
At what point are you in your digitization program? And what are you digitizing?
The audio and the visual recordings of the CCP.
From what year?
Because around 3 or 4 years ago, we had a donation of a digitization equipment, and that's what we use now. Well, I think that was from the middle 80s. About the middle 80s.
So all the video of all performances, what are these? So all the performances which were shot on video are being digitized.
Yes.
And all exhibits are photographed, scanned, and digitized too. So I'd like
Maybe
to
not
know
all.
in terms of the digitization program, what does it consist of? Just the performing arts or everything, including all exhibits that were photographed?
I think it would be mostly performing arts, Madam Senator. Because as we said earlier, we have resident companies. So all the philharmonic concerts are recorded, the ballet productions, the dance productions, the theater, etc.
So all the performing arts that were recorded, and all of them are recorded
As far as the visual
from
arts
the
are
beginning
concerned,
of CCP.
I don't think we have a record of every painting or sculpture that's there. Maybe not. No, maybe not.
Is it advisable to start photographing, documenting every artwork, whether painting, video, installation, etc., so that it's part of your inventory?
It's a good idea, except that we have to deal also with the copywriting thing, intellectual property rights, because some of these painters might of course they're not ours. We need permission. Maybe we need to remunerate them with some sort of whatever compensation.
Just a suggestion, whether it is owned by the CCP or you are just used as a venue, if you could make it a standard thing to ask them permission just for, and have a legal agreement just for documentation, so that after it is probably sold or goes out of the country or kept with the artist, the CCP would have a database and inventory of all art that transpired or exhibited in the CCP. You can even have it in a book if they allow. May papayag dyan, may hindi. Kung hindi, but it's to their benefit that their art is immortalized.
Well, we have been doing that for performing arts, even
But
for those who
also
just
for
lease the
visual,
CCP. We state in the memorandum of agreement that it's for archival purposes. So even CCP is not allowed to commercialize it. Yes.
Could kindly include also the visual arts. That would be good.
Okay, we will take note.
So if you have the performing arts and then we will start it for visual arts, what else could we document?
Film. But again, like with Cinemalaya, we have to have this intellectual copyright, whatever.
Cinemalaya is supported by CCP. You're the ones who subsidize the production of these independent films.
Actually, Madam, the present situation now is that that's one of our predicaments now, because our budget had been scrapped a lot by the DBM before these congressional and Senate hearings. So right now, as of the present time, we do not have a budget for next year's Cinemalaya, which is roughly 15 million. Yes, the amount of which was granted last year. This year.
Ayan, 15 million na lang.
You know, Brillante Mendoza, Love Diaz, and all of these young directors. My God, we've so many of them. We should even increase the budget and not delete it to zero. I'll find the way. I think we should continue Cinemalaya. It has had, it's been there for a long time. I thought it was being supported by Mr. Coangco.
Yes,
funded by him.
For the past 9 years, Mr. Kawanko was our major contributor.
He would give the 15 million a year?
No, not 15 million. He would give about 11 million, and the CCP would allocate about 3.5 million. We got another like 500,000 from the Film Development Council. But unfortunately, Mr. Kawanko had to sort of back.
So now it's purely CCP that funds it.
Yes, last year, this year, with Mr. Kawanko out of the picture, we were able to get from our budget for this year 15 million. It's the one for next year that we don't have anything.
I think it should. You mean if we don't provide you, you will cancel it? How sad! I wouldn't want that to happen during our term. You include it there. We'll find a way.
Thank you.
We'll find a way. Of course.
Thank you very
And then we will check with Film Development Council. Anong pondo nila, Brixio Santos? FDC ba? Nakanino yung budget ng Film Development Council? Under what agency is that? Ayun. Because I know the mandate of the Film Development Council is a production of worthy works, right? And always, they should always support the Cinemalaya.
Yes, Film Development Council does support.
They do.
But,
Ayun
but
pala eh.
not to the extent of 15 million. Because they have
Correct.
so many
Di pagtulungan nyo.
festivals.
Oo, so don't scrap it.
Okay. So that's one
15,
one of
so
the
15.
things that
You're provided with 15.
one of the things that we would like to
Sa Iloilo ba? Sino ang mga young directors na nagpa-participate sa ang daming magagaling?
We already had a sining pambansa Senate President in Iloilo about 2 years ago. In fact, I was a pianist in that festival.
Where did you have it?
In saan nga ba yun? With Mr. Brixio Santos. Sining pambansa. I forgot the venue.
Not in UP.
Not in SM. Not in SM. I think it was like an outdoor whatever. Yeah. I don't remember.
In fact, you should you should not just continue Cinemalaya, but promote Cinemalaya in major regions around the country so that these young directors, for example, in Panay, he will champion it. He's restoring not only the river but the heritage sites. If we can have these young directors do short indie films, 8-minuters, right, Tess? Oh, maganda yan. Oh, dilagyan nyo ng pondo for Panay. Magsimula tayo dyan. And then, pag successful sa Region 6, other regions can follow. Hindi ba? O magkano ang kailangan pag regional Cinemalaya?
Sige po, we will...
Magkano? Hindi, sabihin na nyo ngayon.
Well, Tess Francis is the deputy
Independent
director.
films. Para hindi puro commercial na kung ano-anong sa...
Ikaw, Tess.
Pinunod ko yung sa Lake Cebu. Ano nga ba yun? Ano yung sa Lake Cebu? Pinunod ko.
Madam Senator,
Parang yung Kana. Natutuwa ako. It's the first time yung batang yun ang nag-direct, no? Anak ni Clodoaldo Del Mundo. Pinanood ko kasi gustong-gusto ko Lake Cebu. It was a good attempt. Production design, I think. I mean, may mga, may kakulangan. Hindi siya perfect na film, but it was a bold,
Something to
great,
motivate,
bold
motivate
attempt.
him.
Ang ganda. Dahil mayaman ang kultura sa riyon ni Senate President, kailangan kayo magsimula ng Cinemalaya sa Rio na yan. At tinan nyo, pag maging matagumpay sa Region 6, kasi ako rin sa Antique ako at siya sa Iloilo, ay pwede yan, mag-germinate yan sa bawat regions. Believe me.
yeah, Madam Senator, in fact, that's a very good idea.
Ikaw sa Region 7, ayan, sa Bohol. Simula sa Kabisayaan. Kasi ito ang gamot sa depression dulot ng Yolanda. Lalabas ang artistry.
Arts, yeah.
Oo.
And in Region 6, you have initiatives headed by Peke Galiaga. He's doing a good. He's in Region 6.
Gross,
Negros.
correct.
And then I remember he even did a workshop in Iloilo.
Igawin yung siyang head doon. Oo, maraming magaganda. O sige, maski 5 for one region. Pwede na yun? 5. Tess.
Arthur.
O sige, so yung 15 nyo, i-retain nyo for next year. Tapos, sa Region 6 natin simulaan ng 5. Yan. Inform nyo si Senate President Nangyac. Alam niya kung sino yung mga artists doon. At i-announce din nyo para mag-participate. And maybe Peke can help. In fact, one of the artists in the winning curatorial proposal is a young video artist who was a student of Peke, Montelibano. He's a video artist. What is his name? Mariano? Mariano. He's in his 20s lang, no? I don't know. Mr. Montelibano is a young video artist who will be one of the artists in the Venice Biennale. I don't even know him, but I heard he's good. He's a student of Peke Galiaga. Oh, see? Instead of scrapping the Cinemalaya for next year, nagkaroon na kayo ng budget, meron pa kayong bagong project na regional. Starting with Region 6. Believe me, all regions would want to have their own. Then, the others will be self-funded na at least sinimulan ng CCP. Kaya niyo yan.
Thank you. Exciting.
Nandito kaming dalawa, exciting palagi.
Sige. Well, we go on. So these are napamahal yata yung upo ni Senate President dito. We also have this encyclopedia that we are working on right now. This is an update of the Encyclopedia of Philippine Arts that we did about 20 years ago. So it will be available in both hardbound and softbound copies because we know that with the computer tech now, very very few people are now buying encyclopedias now in hardbound things. And then other than the major final output 1, which is artistic excellence, our second major final output is for Arts for Transformation, education and training of the next generation of artists and audiences. We have arts education. We have our continuing radio programs dealing on corruption. We have arts appreciation and audience development programs for the distressed, the disadvantaged, and the underprivileged. And along with that, of course, we had
When is
arts
this
for
done?
therapy.
When you say distressed communities, that would be Yolanda affected areas.
Yes,
Is-
we have
how you do
already.
that?
Yes, we have gone several times to Leyte and Bohol. Of course, we waited for the opportune time because when disaster strikes initially, their main concern would be the basics, food, shelter. I mean, they don't really need the arts as of that moment. It's only for the later part when their basic needs are more or less addressed that the arts can come in. It's really more for stabilizing their emotional trauma. We have different kinds of workshops. Sorry. Choral workshops. We have theater workshops, which are done normally during the summer, and dance workshops too. And along with President Aquino's social contract, we have anti-corruption. We mentioned this a little earlier. Our radio program, Sugpuin ng Korupsyon, already won the Hall of Fame trophy.
What station is this?
This is DZM, DZRH. Sino angkor? Hindi namin alam. We'll find out po.
What's its slot? I'd like to listen to the program.
We'll let you know about the schedule. Actually, it's under another title now, Madam Senator. It's now called Discarte. Discarte.
How is it a program on arts when it talks about corruption?
Well, they talk about particular cases of corruption, and of course, they have the advice on how to counteract that particular thing.
So it does not deal with art at all.
No, it's
I
more
see.
for this thing about corruption and anti-corruption.
Okay.
We have poverty reduction and empowerment of the poor, transforming places and communities. Well, we have these particular art workshops in schools as well as for teachers. We have artistic programs that help provide employment opportunities, like conducting workshops for bands, for printmaking, for design, and for lighting.
What schools, how do you select the schools for printmaking, for example? What is your basis for selection? What schools are these, private or public schools?
Well, these are actually outsourced from people who are in the know. For example, for print, they will have the contacts for whoever they think will benefit from that. We don't really target any schools because there's no particular school now that offers printmaking as a particular course. So some of them may not even be in schools.
This, like the printmaking workshop, that was a project of the CCP. You said for certain schools. I'd like to know, what in high school, for college courses, for fine arts, what is it?
I would think they're fine art students also. But we have a printmaking association of the Philippines, which is housed in folk arts, behind folk arts theater. And those people who are involved there may have the contacts for those who may, because sometimes we have visiting printmakers also from other countries. And when they conduct the workshops here, the beneficiaries there are not only the people in the printmaking association, but also probably their apprentices that are working with them.
These photos are programs you've had before. For 2015, do you have a timeline and a planned list of all art projects and workshops and in various locations all over the country?
Yeah,
May we have a copy?
sure.
And we'd like to know what kind of art workshops do you do, and in what regions, provinces, in what educational institutions, if it's not in a school, with what locality, and do you actually coordinate with the local government? How do you engage the local communities to join these workshops? And what do you do with their output? Do you exhibit it in their area?
We will let you know. Because
There's a budget for that?
We have an outreach program that deals not only with performing arts, but also with conducting workshops like this. So, of course, the CCP's role is not necessarily to fund, because we ourselves, of course, are short of funding. It's mostly to provide expertise, and in many cases, we outsource specialists from outside CCP, of course. And we bring them to the different localities outside of Manila. Most often, times they are being financed by the local communities. So CCP will be in charge of coordinating the schedules and the activities of these particular events. We have our own share of environment protection. Well, we have this.
Interesting. Luntiang, lungsod. Luntiang sining.
That's
Parang hango sa aking luntiang Pilipinas. Maganda.
That's part of the
Mabuti.
Earth Day. Yeah.
Is this a regular project? Save Manila Bay? Very good.
No, the Save Manila
What
Bay
is it?
was actually in response to that proposed reclamation along Manila Bay. That
Just
the
a one-time
CCP
project.
Yes.
I think you should institutionalize it, because we together with the Supreme Court, we're trying to implement the decision of the Supreme Court to clean the bay, and the mandatory what do you call it, all the agencies that are mandated to clean up the bay regularly meet every quarter in the Supreme Court. It would be good if the arts community, if the cultural center would have projects that would highlight the importance of Manila Bay, since first, you are located there, we're both located there, and second, there's already been since 2009 a Supreme Court decision to save the bay, instructing every agency, DNR, local government, etc., to clean up the bay. If you would parallel that effort in the arts community.
We can actually extend this particular advocacy, because this is, as we said earlier, this is a one-time thing that was Save Manila Bay. It's not really Save Manila Bay, but it's Save Manila Bay from that particular reclamation project. But right now, with what you are suggesting, we can have regular projects there, not necessarily to save it from some reclamation project, but to save Manila Bay in general.
Because it's dead.
Yeah.
To save its the whole body is dead. It's so dirty.
Yeah.
It's filthy. It stinks. You pass by here coming to the Senate, kung di nakataas ang iyong naaamoy mo yung baho.
Our annual advocacy for environment though is
Ko, ilipat. O pakilaman mo rin ang Manila Bay. Sige na. Gawin mo sa Manila Bay yung ginawa mo sa Iloilo River. Sige na. I'm not kidding. For greater awareness, please do something for Manila. A regular arts project among children, among artists. Think of something. You're the creative people. Focusing on Manila
we have
Bay.
this once a year thing that we parallel with Earth Day on April 22nd. We have our own Earth Day. So maybe we can take a look into expanding our advocacy for the environment beyond that one day of the year, Earth Day.
No? There could probably be a cleanup to be done by the Philippine Coast Guard, and all the recyclable waste, I don't know, baka lang magkasakit. Let's say the plastics can be developed into art, and these are the trash that were collected from Manila Bay. Plastics, lata, bote, etc. can be made into art. Maybe that can be developed into some art project. Just an idea.
Well, there
Or
have
the
been,
water lily. Is
there
there
have been
water
many
lily in Manila
modern
Bay?
art projects that deal with wastes like that. Okay naman po yun.
Madam
That's siguro
Chair,
napakadami.
when I cleaned up Iloilo River, I started with sponsoring paintings by the Iloilo students. I bring them to the Iloilo River on a on
Kopyahin na
Sunday.
lang natin yung ginawa niya sa
And,
Iloilo.
You know,
Ayun.
just the students. Of course, I coordinated with the schools. So with the schools, the universities. So you had students painting the river, and then we displayed this in shoe mark. So people became conscious of the need to clean.
Yeah, that's what we mean. Kailangan ng awareness through art. Gawin natin exactly what they did. Ako nang bahala sa venue. It can be exhibited in Cultural Center, in Mall of Asia. Lahat ng tayong by the bay, kaming dito sa legislatura, kayo dyan sa art, SML yung mga nagnenegosyo dyan, they'll be more than willing to help out. Let's copy what they did in Iloilo. And, copy. Replicate. Gayahin. Matagumpay eh.
I did that.
Okay
I really had an art contest, painting contest. You know, we purchased the watercolor. Mura na naman yun yung mga materials, etc. So we lined them up in the river, and from their own perspective, they drew, they interpreted the river, and came out beautifully, and we displayed it in schools, in shopping centers.
Yan.
A few
Sa
years
Earth
back.
Day. Very good. Thank you. Sa Earth Day yung inyong exhibit. But it's not limited to paintings. It could be, as I said, let's say you get a steel bar there, or you get some plastic things. It can be installations. It could be anything. It would be so creative if you gather the waste, not the toxic waste, the waste from there, and they can do something out of it and make it art. So let's not limit it to paintings. It could be, it would be nice if we have the children or youths do paintings, but recycle the waste from the bay. Can even be sound art, maybe the sound of the waves. Maybe it can be a compilation of photos from way back of how the sunset looked then and now every year. I don't know. I'd like to take the sunset for 365. Di ba maganda? Every day take the sunset on a stormy day, on a rainy day, on a drizzling day, on a clear day, etc., on a polluted day. If you have an exhibit of 365 sunsets within a year. Di ba ang ganda nun? It's maliliit. Gawin mo sa isang idea. Maraming magagawa. So let's use the bay as our advocacy in this art workshop, which you can have on Earth Day. Ayun. Si Senate President na magkakat ng ribbon.
Madami ng role si Senate President. Okay, so we move on.
We'll have the Manila Bay annual Manila Bay Art Fest.
Okay.
Yes. Si Tess ang bahala dyan.
Noted po. So our third major final output is the provision of event facilities. Well, this is just a presentation of what we had before, our theater facilities, our galleries, that's the Silangan Hall on the 4th floor, which can be converted into a reception area. It can also be used as a performing area. And now we go to the financials. That's Harbor Square is the portion that CCP owns that is being leased to Harbor Square. It's across CCP. And the other one, the National Art Center.
Yun, ano yung Harbor Square? I didn't even know that existed. What's that?
These are the ones with the eateries there across CCP with
TCP
Jollibee,
property.
with TCP property.
Income
being
ninyo
leased
yun.
to Harbor
And you
Square.
retain the income.
Yes, the rental. But we have an agreement with them that from time to time we can still hold events there, outdoor events. Yes, which of course they are agreeable to. No, this one is the executive the executive house in the National Art Center. Dun sa Philippine High School for the Arts po, in Makiling. Yes.
Is that maintained?
Yes.
Really? Who stays there? The artists?
Well, it has become like a conference place for people. It can also be like a mini hotel for people who may want to stay there. Actually, this is the only facility that the CCP had retained. Before, it used to own the whole Philippine High School for the Arts complex. But again, because of budgetary constraints, we turn over everything except this executive house to the Philippine High School for the Arts. So now they maintain it. They have their own budget for it.
The Philippine High School for the Arts is no longer under you.
No
It's
more.
under DepEd or independent.
It's Under
DepEd, no?
DepEd. DepEd. But
Except the executive building, which is in their premises, but under your authority.
and also as in my position as president, capacity president, I also sit in as the chairman of the advisory council of the Philippine High School for the Arts. So along with myself, the committee includes one of the undersecretaries of education, of course, the executive director of Philippine High School for the Arts, and other
Their funding comes from DepEd.
DepEd.
DepEd ba?
It's under DepEd.
Wala silang kuryente raw.
Oo nga eh.
How is that Frank naman, no? Na bagyo, walang kuryente. Bakit? Walang pambayad? Walang pangayos?
Well, meron
What
na
is
naman
the
kuryente
problem?
by now. They
No,
no, they were out of electricity
nung
for
isang
some
araw
time.
lang sabi sa akin walang kuryente pa. Tagal na
Meron
ng
lang.
bagyong yun.
Alam ko, meron na yata.
Kasi yung lines going there.
Baka not because of the financial.
Not because of the financial.
It's
I
the
see.
structural siguro.
Ang tagal na nun.
Mga puno na bumagsak or something.
Who qualifies for the Philippine High School for the Arts?
They are actually high school students who are screened. So when they graduate from elementary, there are auditions set for the different artistic fields like music, like dance, theater, literature, visual arts. And annually, they can only accommodate like because the total population of the school is about 130. So freshmen probably they can accommodate about 30 to 40. So it's really competitive to find out who those 30 to 40 freshmen would be. And for the next 4 years of their high school years, they are fully subsidized by the government. Not only the tuition, but also the board and lodging. Yes.
What is the most popular course being offered in that high school?
I think it's visual arts right now. Visual arts and theater. Yes.
And when they graduate from high school, what happens?
Well, unfortunately, we were trying to sort of minimize the mortality rate, so to speak. Mortality in the sense that sometimes those people who graduate from there, they do not go into the arts as a degree. So, of course, since the government had already invested so much time and resources for them, it's unfair for them to choose another field when we could have given the slot to another deserving one. So we were thinking of imposing like probably I don't know what the Philippine Science High School would have, like they would have to reimburse the total resources available to them if they don't go into the arts. So, but that's still a point under discussion. It's similar to this, what's this, the one in the States where they fund you, but you have to return to the country after so many years or something. If you don't, then you have to repay what was given to you. I think Fulbright or something has something like that.
Justice to the Philippine High School for the Arts. Are we supporting it enough?
We are supporting them enough, except that these facilities sometimes are, of course, that's one thing that we should improve on. Facilities can definitely be improved.
Have we produced great artists from the Philippine High School from the Arts?
Oh, we have
Already.
one of them, visual artist. He has become 13 Artist Awardee. His name is John Leroy New, who is an installation artist now, and I think he's so much in demand now. Another one is Rowena Arrieta, of course, from the 70s. Yes. Okay. Dun po siya galing. Yeah. I'm not sure about Andion. I don't think so. Si ano po, si Oliver Salonga, who is also an upcoming pianist. Well, of course, from the crop of so many graduates, a few of them would shine. Some of them would just be there. You know.
Who is this young musician, young boy, who is supposed to go back to Munich for a scholarship?
This is Chino Gutierrez. Po.
Yes.
Joaquin Gutierrez.
Who is taking care of him? Under what agency of government? Who is supposed to assist him?
Not
Gifted daw eh.
no agency really, but he has gotten some funding from NCCA before. And right now, well, just got a text this morning that he will have a repeat concert on sometime this week at the Ayala Museum, violinist. Actually, he's a very talented violinist, except that funding just...
How much does he need, and how can the NCCA help him?
Well,
We
the
can ask
NCCA has
the
helped
NCCA.
him because NCCA also has its limits of funding. Wala naman yata, ano, di ba? Wala tayo taga-NCCA. There are a lot of paperwork and requirements to be able to avail of an NCCA grant. Yes. Magaling naman yun siya. He's already in his middle 20s. And he had been there for almost 10 years, I think.
CCP has no provision for boys like that.
Unfortunately, we don't have the funding for scholarships now. We may have, we call it the Maria Scholarship, but we usually give it for the graduates of the Philippine High School for the Arts for their college courses. So they're really more for national. We cannot afford the international grants. Okay. Yes.
You're done with your budget?
This is
Ay, hindi pa.
this is
Yun
now
pala.
the actual what it is leading to. So our total budget for next year is 378 million, divided into those categories. We have personal services 156, MOE which is 53%, and capex which is 20%. Ay,
Hindi ba you are a GOCC, no?
yes po.
Okay. You have sources of income.
Rentals po.
Rentals.
Rentals from theater venues, rentals from the leased spaces.
And
that
you
we
can
have.
utilize all of this under
Yes.
charter.
Yes.
You don't have to remit to the National Treasury anymore.
No, we don't. Unfortunately, Senate President, our total revenue from that is far short of the total budget that we have.
I can understand. That's why you have subsidy from.
Yes.
No, what I'm interested in is I see a lot of commercial establishments here. I assume they pay rental to CCP.
Mhm.
Is there would that be part of your projected sources?
Yes, our total income from all those, including that, including those and the theater rentals, would be 156.
Okay.
But we are short of about 200 million.
Mhm.
That's why we need a subsidy. Actually, with the 202 million that was approved by DBM, this was the 2013 level, and we were initially proposing something like 280 million. So, but unfortunately, they put it back to 202. So with the 80 million now, the thing that they didn't approve, we just have to cut back on artistic programs because we cannot cut back on personal services or...
But why don't you improve your other sources of income? You put your 156.64. How did that look for the last several years? Has it been stable? Has it been increasing? What?
I think it's more or less stable. No? It's more or less in that level, Senate President. Unfortunately, we have this, I'm sure you have heard of the complex development program that we have, because the CCP has about 60 hectares of land around it. Unfortunately, a great majority, maybe about 30% of this land is still under litigation with the Republic Real Estate Corporation, RREC. Republic Real Estate Corporation. That's the Stone Hill of before po. Oh. The thing is, we already won the case with the Supreme Court, but they have lodged, they put another angle to it, like how much you have to pay. So it came back to the court of first instance. So again with the steps. So we would have to wait again forever for that thing to be resolved. But the actual award of the land has already been settled. It's just amount to pay. That's again back to the lower court.
But if the title to the property is already settled to be with the CCP, why can you not utilize the land?
I don't think the title is awarded to the CCP yet, no?
No. But you said there's a judgment already in your favor. I'm just picking up from that statement.
Yes.
Is there something?
Our Vice President for Finance would... Mr. De Rosario, Mr. President.
If you remember, sir, you asked for a copy of, remember that, you asked a copy of that case, and we gave it to you. So right now, it's still pending with the Court of Appeals. Because when that was referred back to the RTC for execution, the RTC ruled in favor of what was being asked by the claimant, not in favor of the Supreme Court decision. So that's what happened.
Just to refresh my memory, who is the claimant here?
The claimant is a
Successor interest of Stonehill Group.
Yes, REC and Pasay City.
No, and who is the claimant?
The claimant is REC.
Sorry.
Yes,
and who represents them? I mean, who are the stockholders? Who's the majority stockholder?
I just remember just the lawyer, sir. Alentahan and Rojas.
That's what
Attorney
I call
Rojas.
Romy Rojas.
Yes, Attorney
And
Rojas.
Bonnie Alintahan.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
We understand that Attorney Rojas is not connected with them anymore.
Romy Rojas is no longer connected.
That's what we understand.
Mga antikenyo yan eh. Mga... So, right now, you do not have title to the property yet because of the pendency of this case.
We actually have title to
Yes.
the property, sir, but a portion of this, about 23 hectares, they were actually able to put a lien on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a lien, the 23 hectares. So we can't touch it at the moment. But it's being leased right now on a very short term.
Mm-hmm.
Like Petco is there, Boom na Boom, they are there. We're getting a very small amount from them. A portion of the area here at the Manila Film Center, that's also under lien, but we get some amount from a Korean group who's occupying the area. So, but we cannot go on full blast, so that's the reason why we cannot totally implement our complex development program.
And where is the case pending now? Court of Appeals?
Court of Appeal, sir. Yes.
And is your lawyer is the Solicitor General?
Yes, sir. It's being handled by OGCC and OSG.
How long has the case been pending? Long?
Sir, the decision I think was made in 2007. So it's about 7 years already. Even before?
Yeah, before the decision.
Well, that was in 1962.
I think long enough, Senate President, that the court's decision take forever.
1999. 99. Sorry, sir. 1999 court decision.
This is the breakdown of our three major components, Senator. So we would like to take this occasion also to seek a justification for an additional amount that we wanted to propose. This is for the supply and installation of 2 units of power transformers because the present power transformers that we have are already phased out, and besides, they contain substances that pose hazard to the environment. So for this, we would need an additional 20 million, Madam Chair. So with the Cinemalaya and regional Cinemalaya, maybe this will be 40 million, 40 M. Yes, 40 M. It's maintained to the best of our resources, but we will not. We will not. Oh, nga. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I put in my pork barrel. Wala na, hindi na yan gumagawa.
No,
Dati,
the fountains are
before you
working.
check it, before 2004, wala yan.
But the fountains are working, sir.
Correct, but prior to 2004, I said
Prior?
I was the one who funded in 2004 the rehabilitation.
To be active again.
Yes, that's why.
Saan yung, sabihin nyo lang.
Marami po. Actually,
Hindi lang fountain.
ang pinakaano po namin ngayon, carpets and bathrooms. Oh, nga eh. We were able to get a private funder to do the first floor, the ground floor, banyo tsaka carpets po. Yun ang pinaka-main, and the others are really emergency repairs. What was happening before is that when we have a budget approved, so let's say we have scheduled, the installation of new theater chairs, but sometimes an emergency repair would come that we don't expect. So madidelay yung aming mga improvement of facilities, because the repairs of course are much more critical. But these are the things that are very much visible to the public. We get a lot of flack now for our bathrooms and carpets. Yeah. We got a 1.8 million grant to finance the two bathrooms, the ladies and the men's bathroom, in the ground floor of the main theater. Unfortunately, the 1.8 could only finance those two. Of course, we have 3 more floors there. We have bathrooms in the little theater, and we have bathrooms also for our staff, for the insides of the cultural center. So those are the priorities that we have. Any other priorities? For this year, Madam Senator, you gave us 10 million already for the carpet and the bathroom, which is undergoing repair and in the process from last year. Yes.
Can you prioritize the bathrooms? I think that bathrooms speak of the kind of people who
Of
work
course.
or live in that, whether you're in a home or
Yes,
building, that's so important. Yeah. So, hindi na kailangan yun kasi you have the budget for this year.
It's a budget.
Mm-mm.
According to my finance committee, it's enough. I hope they were not scared to answer yes. Yes, thank you very much, Senator. Thank you, Senate President. So that's the end of our proposal.
From my end, I would like to allow CCP full potential of its property, and I'm referring to this long pending litigation, because this can do a lot for your operations if you are able to maximize your utilization of this very valuable asset. You know, you don't have to come to us pleading every time for additional budget. This is a substantial asset which you can utilize fully. I wish I could assist you there. Would you ask your lawyer just to give me an executive brief, and then I will look at it and see, maybe I'll call you just to help you, off budget, but this is a source of a substantial revenue. If you can give me an executive summary, ask your lawyers to give me an executive summary, and then I will look at it, and then maybe I can devote an hour or two later on, sit down with you and your lawyer, and plot out how we can resolve this, because it has been pending for such a long time, and this is a potential income earner, a huge asset for the CCP that can help you a lot. That's my way of helping you. You know, I'm no cultural girl like my good friend here, but I have ways of helping you and see. No, you know, my the father and I were watching.
Put that on record. Nakakahiya ka. You put it on record. Are you sure?
Pati tatay mo masasama. Anyway.
Tinulugan yung concert. Pinagalitan ko,
Yung tatay mo kasama ko eh. Anong magawa ko?
So it's now on record that your father's left.
No. But really, that's how I can help, you know. Because, as you can imagine, our capacity to provide support, financial support, will also be limited. But this is an asset which I strongly feel you can generate enough income to respond to all your needs adequately. So I will repeat, I offer if you if you would want me. I have no interest in this thing. My only interest is to help you.
Yes, we appreciate it very much, Senator. We'll try to fast track.
Give
this
me
thing.
an executive summary, and you know I can sit down with you afterwards, ask my staff to look at it, and then I'll call you and your OGCC, whoever, to a meeting, and let's sit down. How we can help.
So by Monday, before the end of office hours, kay Senate President's office, you can give him that executive
On Monday,
brief.
you know, if that's been pending for 20 years, another 20 days will not
Wag
really
naman.
matter.
Hindi na nga eh.
No.
I'm sure they
But
know
no,
already.
no. But that's what, not just my commitment, rather than, you know, all of that one can help you in a very substantial way. I would like to.
Projections already since a few years ago that would enable CCP to be self-sufficient, that we won't really have to be here to defend our budget based on that projection. Unfortunately, there were a lot of things that happened in between. We thought they were legally okay already. Well, the complications were far more difficult than we thought. That's right. But we
I
appreciate
don't
you.
promise anything. All I promise you is that I will devote time to see if I
Well, that would
can help.
be substantial assistance. Thank you. We'll fast track it, sir. Thank you, Madam.
Galing talaga pag kasama si Senate President sa hearing. Very good. O next, sinong archives? Si Ino muna, ha? Paano ba to? Jack and Poy kayo, kung sino man.
How can I go against naman the national
Sige, the national artist before my classmate.
That's,
Okay.
you know, pero talaga kailangan akong tumakbo because they are now finalizing the contest on Salita ng Taon, the Word of the Year. And I have to be there for the awarding. But doon po sa UP. So the 3 channels are there right now to follow up on the contest. But anyway, sige po. Para lang mabilis, alam na ninyo yung aming mandate. Alam na yung aming mandate. Sige. So, wala na rin yan. Please, tuloy-tuloy lang. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Hindi na yung ambition. Sige. Ayan, yung aming pondo. So, yung pong aming pondo, since 3 years ago, pareho lang yan. Lagi po yan halos 43 million lagi. At ganyan po yung paghati. Mostly 26 million for personal services, 14 million plus for MOOE, and then a little of 2 million plus for CO. Noong nakaraang taon po, pass na rin yan, ang amin pong naging trabaho, because we just started our service as chair and board of the Commission sa Wikang Filipino last year, nag-umpisa kami dun sa aming project na Sulong Dangal ng Pilipino. This is a combination of seminars, conferences, and contest na ang pinaka-trabaho ay i-push ang propagation of Filipino as the national language and the protection and also cultivation of the other Philippine languages. Hindi pa namin tiyak. Palagay namin yung sinasabi ng SIL na 171 hindi totoo. So, mas mababa. Ngayon, meron kaming research, lumilitaw mga less than 100 lang talaga yung ating yung mas tiyak na languages natin. Yung iba kasi parang dialects lang eh. Hindi sila talaga languages. Kasi meron tayong, kunyari, in Kalinga, meron tayong ganong lugar na halos bawat barangay, dialect. May sariling dialect. Kaya talagang, pagka nagkakaintindihan, dialect lang. Pag hindi talaga nagkakaintindihan, yung dalawang barangay, talagang different languages yun.
Bakit hindi different dialect? Kung hindi magkakaintindihan, kung nagkakaintindihan sila, dialect yon.
Dialect po yun.
Kung
Ibig
hindi
sabihin, variant lang nung language nila, yung kanilang sinasalita. Like yung language na Kalinga, may Lubwagan Kalinga, may Tabok Kalinga, pero nagkakaintindihan yung taga-Tabok.
Amin po,
at saka,
sa amin, Mr. Almario, Ilonggo, Iligaynon.
Opo.
Yung Kinaraya is a
Yun ang
dialect.
old language ninyo.
I'm sorry?
It's really it's your older language in Panay.
The more antique.
Antique language. Kaya spoken in antique.
Huh? No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Is it Kinaraya is the older language?
It's the older language.
Now, there are certain towns in Iloilo which speak Kinaraya.
Kinaraya, opo.
You know, when you go south, as you cross the border to Oton, the dog acquires a different name. The dog. Ido is in Ilonggo. Pagdating mo doon pag-cross mo ng border, it becomes Ayam. But it's the same dog, ha?
Frank, magkaroon ka ng museo ng languages sa
Nagiging manok. In Indonesia.
Ayam is chicken in Indonesia.
Kinakain ng ayam sa Indonesia. Dito kinakain ang ayam
Really.
sa
So, yeah, because really that's true, it's barely, Uton is barely 10 kilometers away from the city. But when you cross the line, the Ido becomes Ayam.
Ido is dog.
Ido is dog.
In Ilonggo.
In Ilonggo.
Nagiging ayam.
Ayam,
Ano yung ayam?
Pero
Kinaraya ba?
nagkakaintindihan po yung taga-Uton at saka yung
Yes, yes. Well, it's
dialectal differences lang po yun.
ha?
Dialectal
Kinaraya
differences
is
lang
very
po.
difficult to understand.
I'm sorry to, I don't want to argue with tatalo ako sa debate sa national artist. But, Igo, anong Igo?
Ido.
Ido is Ilonggo for dog.
Yes.
Hiligaynon.
Yeah.
And Ayam is
Kinaraya.
dog for Kinaraya. So, that's a language.
No, kaya po ang tanong ko kanina, kung nagkakaintindihan yung
Ang
gumagamit
layo
ng
ng
ayam
Igo,
at saka ng
Igo at saka Ayam.
No, nagkakaintindihan. Pag sinabi mong Ayam,
No. Naintindihan ng mga sir, naintindihan 'di ba because prestige language yung Ilonggo.
so
ng-
nagsasalita sila ng
Yeah, most of them. In fact, I remember in the research that yung mga taga-Antique, when the time when they were still write letters, no, about 10, 15 years ago, they would write in Ilonggo because it was harder to write in Kinaraya. Like Tita Sally is from Antique, but she can speak Ilonggo because it's what everybody learns in Panay.
But Kinaraya is the original language of Hiligaynon. It's the older one.
Panay.
Dictionary.
Of
For that
Panay.
matter,
Do we have a Kinaraya, how should it, part of the museo. So yung museo yung tinatayo nila, kailangan may isang lugar doon dedicated to Kinaraya. Ayun.
Alam mo,
Oo, kailangan yun.
no, the point I'm going to say is, many of the towns in Iloilo speak Kinaraya, or a mixture of Hiligaynon and Kinaraya. You go to Pavia, which is the next town, Santa Barbara.
In fact, it gets complicated. The people in Mindanao who are from Panay, if you ask them, they will all say they're Ilonggo. But in fact, what they're speaking is Kinaraya. That was according to Ernesto Constantino.
So, very clear because you said, dyan ang galing ang Ilonggo sa Kinaraya.
Yung po
Kaya
ang
sa museo
original
tinatayo nyo, which is the...
I do not know about that the Ilonggo came from Kinaraya.
Ayaw mo lang aminin mas... Sila na nga ang nagsasabi,
Director
historians na
Manalo
yan.
said this is the royal language is the Ilonggo.
No, the original is Kinaraya. Ha? Prestige. Why?
Kinaraya is
Kinaraya is the original, right?
Parang mas
Oo.
modern siya eh. Kaya,
Kinaraya is the original. Nag-evolve na lang.
Kinaraya is the original and they have remained original after this.
Aba, original kami. Tayo. So, just to clarify,
ang mahalaga po doon, ang Kinaraya, mayaman siya sa
Politika.
sa folk literatures.
tinan mo?
Ang inyong epic ay nasa
O,
Kinaraya.
tinan mo? O, tika. Ano
Yun ang
ba?
mahalaga.
Yeah, it's good.
Saan ngayon ang embodiment or database o koleksyon ng sinimulan ng Kinaraya, yung ating folk epic, literature, etc. ng Kinaraya? Saan yan?
Meron po
Mahanap?
tayo ngayong scholar, si Alisa Magos, na siya talaga yung parang master ngayon.
Pwede ba kung
Kinaraya
ang ganda?
literature.
Kailangan to, yung Panay Museum nyo sa Iloilo, isang wing dedicated sa Kinaraya.
Panay
Ayun,
po
tas
dapat.
lahat ng research ninyo at ni Dr. Magos, dun, kasi yun ang pinaggalingan ng Ilonggo.
Wing. Siguro one section malito ng mga antiki.
Hindi, Aterika. I have to clarify that. Ang Kinaraya ay hindi lamang antike, hindi ba? Buong Panay.
Yeah.
Tama?
Buong Panay.
No. Wait. Kinaraya is not the language of Antique. It is the original language to which Ilonggo came from. And therefore, it is the whole of Panay. Correct?
Yeah.
Complicated ang language picture ng Panay. There are other languages. There's Aklanon. In some people, they even consider
Yes,
Kapisnon a separate language, no?
Pinaka-royal ay
Walang royal naman, walang royal.
una, original.
I think Dr. Almario is referring to the dictionary. Kasi the dictionary is the word that is used is Hiraya language, di ba?
Do we still have a Kinaraya dictionary?
Not right now.
Gumawa ka.
But there is a
Ayun, ang homework mo.
I've been asking Alisa Magos to
There is
do that.
a published Kinaraya dictionary.
But that's
the older ones.
That's your project for next year.
Kasama po yun sa listahan.
In Iloilo, you find only those in the city, who would not be speaking Kinaraya. The Hiligaynon, which is similar to Bacolod, etc. Which we imported to Bacolod. But the rest of the towns, they would have Kinaraya, either as a mixture with Hiligaynon or... Yeah, well, that's true.
It can happen.
It can happen, yeah, that's
it can
true.
happen.
The people...
Use your microphone, please.
Yeah, sometimes also what happens is that even the Ilonggo speakers, the people they work with in the office or in the household, they're raised by people who speak Kiraya. So,
Just one sentence, Tita Sally, Governor Sally Perez, can you say one sentence in Kinaraya and the same sentence will be spoken in Ilonggo and we see if there's any similarity or what? Let's say sulong dangalang Filipino in Kinaraya, and then someone will say it in Ilonggo.
Madam Senator, I know the line that our nurse always used to tell me. Hindi ka gid magpadaog sa mga babaknit.
Nako.
Hindi ka gid magpadaog sa mga babaknit. Hindi ka magpapatalo sa mga babae.
Ang Kinaraya.
Kinaraya yan.
Ano ang Ilonggo doon? How do you say it in Ilonggo?
Sa mga bayi.
Magpapierde. Ayun, Spanish na yun. Oo.
Sabi nga nila German daw.
alam
Sila ay nilahi ng iba. Kami, original, purong Pilipino.
Hindi mo na...
alam ba ninyo, ang isang natutuklasan namin recently sa paglibot namin doon sa mga languages natin, marami tayong languages na may swa. At isa doon ang kinaraya. Swa is yung na alanganing i at a at mga ganun. Yung kanina, yung yun. Oh.
Kaya mahirap.
So, ang Ilonggo, wala. Oh.
So, baknet, hindi ko kayo ko lang narinig yan.
So hindi nyo narinig kasi hindi kayo
Hindi niya alam
curious. Hindi kayo curious.
O yung hangag, lagi kami tinatawag na hangag. Why don't you say kabudlay maghambal sang kinaraya? How would you say that in
Maghambal sa
kinaraya?
Binagig kong tigulang na
Maliit na, maliit.
Sabi, budlay maghambal sa kinaraya. Kung tigulang na ang gambal.
Matanda na.
Hindi lang tigulang, maliit. Maliit.
So, pero hindi si Governor Sally, hindi naging conscious na may swa. Hindi siya conscious na may swa yung kanyang salita. Pero kasi yung swa, sa aming pagtingin-tingin, sa buong Cordillera, may swa. Sa Pangasinan, may swa. Tapos Lumukso, Kiniraya, may swa. Tapos sa Mindanao, Sangkaterba ang may swa.
Sandali, bakit
Pero yung
kayo-
mga languages like Ilonggo, Cebuano, Tagalog, Pampango, walang swa.
Sa Ilonggo has many Spanish words.
Ay, lahat po na.
And then, but again, okay, so you speak Ilonggo, and then Antique has a Ginaraya. Akyano is again
Akyano,
another
another
dialect or
thing,
language, however you call it. And then yung Kapis also has Kapisnon, although many similar words, but there are certain words which
said Iloilo also speaks Kinaraya, Pavia, Oton, na those
the
towns.
mix na, not as pure as the antiques in Antique.
Pero, Mr. Senator, meron po tayo ngayong grupo ng mga writers, young writers in Iloilo mismo, naka-base in Iloilo City, na nagsusulat sa Kinaraya. Oo, kasi gusto nila talagang i-revive yung Kinaraya. Poets ito, sir.
Ang galing. Ba't hindi ka mag-poetry reading in Kinaraya? Hindi, totoo yan. Poetry reading in Kinaraya. Sa Iloilo.
Lalangawin ka.
Hindi. Uy, ang ganda nun. Yung mga cultured ang pupunta.
Kukunti lang yun.
Maggawa ka ng diksyonaryo sa Kinaraya. And then how interesting that you said the swa of the Cordillera in
lahat
Antique.
po sila.
So these are the ties that bind. Apart from my textiles that I love so much,
Hindi
it's
lang,
these
hindi lang po
languages.
yun. Yung mga sounds like F at V,
Walang F sa Pampanga.
wala din po sa Ilonggo. Oh.
Walang F sa Ilonggo.
Wala rin sa Tagalog, wala rin sa Cebuano. Pero, nandun siya sa Cordillera, nandun siya sa Mindanao, and I think even in Kinaraya.
You should have a language museum.
Let me tell you what I miss, Mr. Almario.
Yes, yes, sir.
I grew up reading Ilonggo publications. Hiligaynon
Opo.
is a weekly magazine. Where all of these are
So you have read Musones, sir?
who?
Ramon Musones.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the Mexica, you know.
And
So all of them, I grew up reading all of this. But years back, for decades, wala na lahat ito. And, you know, that is why yung mga bagong mga kabataan, wala na, hindi mo na they don't anymore know the dialect as we know it. Sayang. But of course, this was private sector. No? These are publications. But binibili yan, no? Binibili yan ng mga tao. Oh, they wait for it on a weekly kasi may mga parang yung teleserye ngayon, yung mga panahon nun na, you know, susundan mo yung istorya. You know,
parang telenovela.
How do we make sure these languages don't die? How do we retain, promote, like what this Young Poet Society of Iloilo is doing?
Preserve Auntie Sally.
Mommy Fire. Dr. Magus' own na rin eh. Puro kayo
Binabalak mo namin isama.
Sama nyo doon.
Inire-recommend namin. Palagay ko po, dapat merong rekomendasyon na galing kay Senator Drilon. Para talagang...
Tell me one good reason why I should do that.
Pagka po kayo nag-recommend, walang magagawa si Secretary Luis.
Bakit nga daw kailangan asama ang kinaraya? No, ibig sabihin, bakit mahalaga yun? I-justify po
Kailangan
yun.
po ang kinaraya ay talagang gamitin as one of the mother tongues. Kasi maraming gumagamit
Seriously
sa
speaking, I'm willing
Panay.
to do that. Because,
Ganun,
yes. Seriously speaking, you know. Yeah.
ganun po rin ang inirekomenda namin do sa Cordillera region eh. Wala rin sila sa mother tongue. Wala. Kaya po, wala ang kalanguya.
What should we specifically request for?
That kinaraya be included in the mother tongues.
Can you give me a draft, Commissioner De Lima?
Sige po, kasi po nung magpunta kami sa Iloilo, yun ang request. So, sumulat na kami, pero siyempre kung may sulat kayo sa DepEd, mas bibigyan ng kanya ng lakas.
Maybe you also give me a copy of that letter that you sent to DepEd.
Opo.
Now, yung orthography,
Opo. Yun yung
how about the oral?
System of writing.
To keep it oral.
Hindi lang ho yun.
How do you
Pagka
document it?
Ang isa kasing step sa development ng language is a system of writing. Para talaga siya ma-record.
Doing that now, you're documenting
We
it.
are trying to.
Mr. Mario, baka malate ka na doon sa appointment mo sa UP.
So yun lahat po.
Sige.
Sa ngayon po, bukod dito, ito po pansimula pa lang namin eh. So sa pamagitan po niyan, lalo na because in-encourage kami ng pagdating ng presidente sa aming kongreso, nakita namin talaga na kailangang alagaan lahat yung languages. Mamamatay sila kung hindi sila alagaan. Mamamatay. So, ang ginagawa namin, una ay research sa mga languages at kung maaari, i-publish yung lahat ng folk literatures na available. So, nagsimula na kami with Cordillera and Maranao. Pero yung pala nga naabot ng aming budget. Yan ay tinulungan pa kami ng NCCA. Para
lahat ito published na.
Published na po
Saan
yan.
po ang library na meron yan lahat?
Wala. Ang ginagawa namin, lahat ng libraries na manghingi, binibigyan namin.
Yan naman yung Senate.
Opo.
Give our offices also of the public, one of each, so that we can have an idea. And in your wish list, lagay nyo lahat, i-fast track natin yung documentation.
So lahat ng aming unang-unang ginagawa ngayon, sisimula pa lang kami. At kung yan ay i-accelerate namin next year, yun nga, milyon-milyon yan. Kasi pupuntakan lahat sa bundok para mag-record, mag-interview, at pagkaraan pa mag-publish ng lahat ng record at saka interview.
But it's here already in your budget.
We are, wala po yun doon sa aming 43. Ang aming pong, ay yung aming request na above the ceiling, na unfortunately, hindi binigay sa amin ng DBM. Yan po yung aming iniisip, na magkaroon kami ng additional fund of 7.2 for publication, 3.5 for research and documentation and translation, and then 8.5 for seminars and workshops. Yung seminars and workshops po para sa mga regions. Kailangan pong puntahan lahat sila, seminar, turuan, kung paano talagang sila ay magkaroon ng capacity themselves para alagaan yung kanilang languages. So, halimbawa, nagpunta na kami sa Ilocos, at least this year, nakapunta na kami ng Ilocos and Bicol, pero at sa Iloilo, magpupunta kami next month. Pero kung iikot kami sa lahat ng regions at aalagaan namin yung lahat ng pertinent na languages in the region, yun nga, mangangailangan kami ng ganitong dagdag na pondo. So, umabot po ito ng 23 additional millions for us para magawa namin yung aming trabaho ng more efficiently.
It was not accepted by DBM.
Hindi po nila maintindihan yata
20 lang.
halaga ng aming ginagawa. At siguro nagugulat sila kasi alam naman ninyo, since 1991, walang ganitong project yung Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino.
Wala ba tayong isang library, isang museo that has documentation of Philippine languages?
Nakakalat po lahat yan.
Saan?
Bawat region.
Saan ang mga...
Wala hong isang library o
But
isang
there are
museum
libraries in the regions.
in the regions.
Can you give me an inventory? Maybe not even have in all the libraries and community folk museums in all over the country that have a section on the Philippine languages,
Opo.
if any. Why not dedicate a room in the National Museum, just like you saw the hibla, that's the textiles, no? In Baybayin, that's also my PIDAF. So that's just a room, Baybayin, ang ganda-ganda. You should see that in National Museum, beside the hibla, the textile gallery. Why not one room on languages? And the history
Alam
of
po
our
ninyo,
languages.
sa plano ng National Historical Commission, may plano sila dun sa aming, actually squatter kami dun sa Watson Building, near Malacanang. It's part of the Malacanang complex. It's a heritage building.
Your building is beautiful.
It's a beautiful
Naku, do not
building.
Nasisira
po kasi nasisira ng mga Marines na nandun sa ibaba. Pero ang plano ng National Historical Commission po, doon ang aming museo at saka hindi nga binibigyan ng pondo yung National Historical Commission. I think around 40 plus ang kanilang for development.
Sa dami mong hinihingi sa akin, uwi na ako.
Kasi mahalaga eh. Hindi, ngayon lang. No, totoo. Ngayon lang upo ang Senate President sa mga hearing na maliit na ahensya.
Kaya po kami
Maliit na
natutuwa
ahensya, pero napakalaki ng kahalagahan. At kung hindi natin papansinin yung mga languages na yan ngayon,
Mamamatay po.
patay na.
Pinapansin ka natin, pero huwag naman yung mga 40 million, ipasa mo sa akin na dapat kong pansinin.
O kalahati lang man lang. Imagine, Frank, hinati mo. Kung next year, SP, meron isang kwarto lang man dyan na Museo ng Languages ng Pilipinas.
Opo.
It's historical, under your leadership.
Saka
Exciting.
pupuntahan po ng mga bata yun.
Pupuntahan
at
yan, doon mga
turista.
katabi ng Malacanang, isang kwarto, huwag ng 40, 20 na lang. Kaya na nyo yan, liitan na lang ninyo, basta
Problema po
ma-establish.
namin
Yeah,
ito
I see, yeah.
kung paano paalisin yung mga Marines doon sa ibaba.
Bahala na siya doon. Magaling siya doon magpaalis. Magaling siya magpaalis.
Just as a matter of, and I do not know how accurate my information is, I understand, and I have heard it from the people there, that the inhabitants of an island north of Batanes and the inhabitants of an island south of Taiwan speak the same dialect or at least understand each other.
Understand each other. Yes, sir. Hindi ko alam po.
Ivatan ba tawag doon? Hindi.
Hindi ho.
Tanong mo kay Butch. Si Butch makakaalam nun.
Para lang po yan yung Kapampangan, merong isang lugar sa Java, kahawig ng Kapampangan.
Or no, I think it's more than that. There was a lot of interaction for centuries or whatever between the peoples of these two islands. And, you know, these are just geographical divisions. Their culture really would be,
would be the same.
These are just political divisions.
Or
and
related.
Yeah, and they're really connected, and they share the same culture.
I-research nyo kung ano yun. How interesting. No, just like our textiles, yung ikat ng Pilipinas, halos pareho ng ikat ng Indonesia, yung mga similarities. How interesting.
Saka yung po ngayong mga bagong research on the currents of migration, lumilitaw talaga na yung talagang main current of migration to Luzon came from Taiwan.
Ilan po yung linggo ng wika? August.
Buwan ng wika po yun, August.
On August next year, we will inaugurate, no, sooner na lang, Arts Month na lang in February, your room building where you will have the Languages Museum. It will be the first permanent Languages Museum in the country. Maliit lang, mas isang kwarto lang, sige na, masimulan lang. Ako na maghahanap ng private donations para palakihin natin, pagandahin. Just the history of languages, whatever you have. And then whatever dictionary, folk literature, etc. na meron kayo. Para may pupunta ng mga tao. Make it a library cum museum. Kami ang mag-inaugurate. Simulan mo sa maliit na pondo rito. Kung di man kaya yung 40, maski 1/4, 1/3 of that. And then I'll get you private sector donations if you're allowed to receive.
Heritage building po yun, kaya kailangan po ang permiso pa ng National Historical Commission para doon.
Use one room for a museum?
Kahit po. Kasi ngayon, actually, yung buong building, 1/3 lang nun yung amin. Yung another part of the second floor is now to be occupied by the staff of the incoming EPEC conference here. So walang nag-occupy noon, pinipilit namin makuha.
Okay.
Kung sana makuha rin namin yun.
So get one room already for your museum bago pa man dumating yung kung sino man doon. No, totoo. So mag-hearing ako naman sa NHCP next week. Ako na bahala sa NHCP. They will allow you to have one room as your library cum languages museum.
Saka si Secretary Ochoa po, kung pwedeng.
So all you need to do is to put in writing what we discussed now. So ano yan, written to Secretary, to Chair Joc, no? This confirms or ano, based on agreement of Senate President and the chairman of your budget, ganito. on a languages museum within your premises.
Nako, gagawin namin yun, basta matagal na akong pangarap yun.
The first and only permanent languages museum in the Philippines. How about our neighboring countries and ASEAN? I'm sure they have languages museum? No.
They have big language agencies. Yeah, big. It's a big agency.
Yes, once you generate interest.
In fact, they have their own translation agency, which we need also. Because we need translators and experts in the different languages.
So you have your library.
Okay po, maraming pong salamat.
Assign a technical person who knows all of this that you're saying to the curator or whoever is in charge of Senator Drilon's museum in Iloilo, so that one small portion can be devoted to their languages there in the region. Diba?
Yari na po ba yung museum ninyo? Or
There is an existing museum there. Museo in Iloilo. I'm sure they can accommodate, this kind of an activity and would be appreciated.
kasi next month papunta namin doon
The new one, I don't know at what stage is the infrastructure development. I saw some plans to be funded by the NCCA. Whether or not they've actually started the construction, I have no information. I haven't seen any activity yet. The last time I was there a month ago.
The NCCA can fund part of it your budget, part of it NCCA for your languages museum in your building.
It can be done that way.
Yeah, NCCA, tama.
But first, we should really get first the space for it.
In your building, your premises. And NHCP will just have to concur. Diba?
No, it's actually OP. It's
OP.
kaya that's
It's
why
just a room,
we
it's
have
not the
talk,
floor.
We have to talk to secretariat.
So, kindly just give us the letter and we will help facilitate it.
Sige po.
Bakante naman yung space di ba? Oo. Isang malito ko. Destination pa yan maganda Study tour sa mga bata,
Kahit
tourist
po yung
destination.
historical commission, yun din ang nasa isip. Oo.
But sa APEC. Ang ganda niyan.
Sige po.
The
Archives
Filipino
naman.
language is over. And I'm also through with your hearing. I'm going now.
Meron pa isa. Tapusin mo na si Ino, archives.
Okay,
Mag-interesting ang archives.
Okay.
Maraming
Salamat po.
Salamat.
Ayan. Thank you very much. Yes. So our Cinemalaya in Region 6 and our
Our presentation is basically on the budget because we've already presented our programs in many other fora, no? So, Remel, yung outcomes namin, ito yung dalawang outcomes namin, I just want to stress that the archives, most people are unaware that we have two main activities. One is managing the records of the country, no? No agency, no matter how important, can discard or dispose of its records without the approval of the National Archives, no? Because the issue is not because of that the National Archives is especially favored, but there must be check and balance when it comes to disposal of official records. The other one is taking care of the archives itself, all the records that are of historical importance and national importance that are kept in our archives. So two, no, archives administration and records management. Now, these are our main goals. You can just read them on your own, and just to show that they have to do with our two different outcomes, no? Our budget, ito na, our total budget is 589 million, and this is the largest budget we've requested so far, and this is because we are now finally requesting for our building, no? Next. Now, I'll explain what these two activities want. The first one was this, we've just been approved for two items, no? One was the disaster response team because we realized after Yolanda, just like the CCP was doing outreach programs with the Yolanda people, we needed to do outreach for to recover their documents, no? Marami talagang nasira na dokumento. We tried to penetrate right after Yolanda, para we were told na hindi muna, no? People need to work on humanitarian needs. But eventually, we came using our own budget. We just realigned some of our items, and we were able to use it to help give workshops on how to recover their records, no? And we did this also in Iloilo, northern Iloilo, and in northern Cebu, everywhere that Yolanda passed, no? And much of it was really psychological, no? That people just needed to have something to hold on to because parang natulala talaga sila because of the massive destruction. Okay? So that's the main thing. We're gonna do that next year. We are now putting it into our budget for the first time. We are getting everything from drying equipment to workshop supplies, no? But our main thing really, next slide, is that we are restoring and reconstructing the Intendencia building. This is in Intramuros. So after San Agustin, this is now the most intact building in Intramuros. Yes, near sa Customs, near sa Bureau of Customs. If you are facing the cathedral, Plaza Roma, so this is now if you're facing the cathedral, you go left, you take the road to the left. You continue the left. So you have here the Ayuntamiento, yun ang yung treasury. Then beyond that, kami na. We're now right now we're in the pier.
So you face when you face the cathedral, you take the road to the left,
Yes, to your left, no?
to your left.
That long
Going
road-
into Intramuros, I mean,
Continuing.
Continuing,
Yeah. And then that will hit the Intendencia. It's now a shell of a building. It looks like that, the one on the right. Shell pa lang siya. But with this project, it will become like the one on the left. Yes, it's been assigned to the archives. Yeah.
so it's right in the Intramuros
Yes.
itself?
Yes.
At walang squatter sa paligid yan?
Wala po. And we've been all these years that for the past 10 years we've been and more, we've been guarding it with our security guards just to make until we finally could get the budget to fix it.
I hope you don't get developers like what they did in Army Navy where hinubaran nila at skeleton na lang.
Who is that?
Palafox. Karabat ginawa yun.
Yeah.
Please,
Well-
who's developing this? Well,
Well, it will when we get the
Bakbakin-
final approval from Senate kasi we've passed already the House. We will have it bid, no, and we will take note. Yes, we will. So we'll watch over
I
it.
mean, yeah, I see.
Yeah, we'll watch over it. Yes, yes. No, it's not. It's near Maestranza.
Alam mo, imbis na mag-isip tayo, magtayo tayong building na bago, wala ba tayong makakalap sa Intramuros na building pwedeng lumipat ang Senado at mag-adaptive reuse na lang tayo?
Don't go overboard.
Okay, so we'll continue. The next slide, please. Just to show you where we've gone, what we've undergone, yeah, the archives used to be in the Intendencia way back in the 19th century up to the early 20th, no? So, nandun kami sa Intramuros. Tapos nasira yon. Well, no, we were asked to move, so we moved to the Ayuntamiento. So, ito yung saga namin, no? Then eventually, nag-move kami sa ice plant, which is, I suppose, good kasi malamig. So,
Ganda lahat ng building nyo.
but, well, except that wala na yung ice plant, di ba? And then, napunta pa kami sa Bilibid Prison, no? And then, dun kami during the war, and buti ka, nakalabas pa kami. And it was here that, yung, ginamit yan ng mga sundalo, and then, I always say, soldado, Ilonggo pala yon. And then, ginamit yan as mattresses, ginamit ang mga archives for toilet paper. That's why so much was lost, no? But the problem is really that lipat-lipat, no? Then we moved to UP, and then after that we moved to the National Library, And then finally, now we're in the port area kasi wala pa rin kaming building, no? So nalipat kami sa port area because the National Library was forced to ask us to leave because of their needs.
Center.
In Velco Center.
I used to have office there when I was in News.
Okay. So as you can see sa kakalipat namin, nasa pier na kami, sa sunod sa barko na kami, paalis na kami, no? So yeah, but hopefully we're asking for this. Next slide. And then this is to show you the National Library really has finally after a lot of reckoning, it had to ask us to leave kasi they really need the space. Sila din they're also in dire need, no? Next slide. But unfortunately, may maraming problem dun sa port area. Nagkasunog na kami the first month we were there. I mean, hindi kami, no? The neighbor, luckily hindi umabot sa amin. Nagkakaroon na ngayon hindi ka makakalabas kasi when you go out, it's all trucks, no? So ang hirap talaga. We hope we don't have to stay here anymore, no? Then, next. But look naman that what we have in the archives. So this is an example lang just of one of the documents that's never been shown before. It's never been known. This was in our exhibit on just focusing on the Ilocos. And senators, we are producing this book on just the documents of Ilocos, no? This is still the mock-up. It will come out sometime this year. And beautiful records. And we can do this for every region of the country. On Iloilo, on Cebu.
Hey, I will support your budget. Do me something for Iloilo.
Of course, of
because
course.
it's very rich.
Oh.
Iloilo and Antique, panay na. Panay.
Yung Antique, wala ka makikita ganyan.
Ano ka? Oy, lagot kapag... per province or region? Region.
Region one.
Region, ayan. Magkasama na kami
honestly,
doon.
I'd like to you invite me. You prepare, what you have for Iloilo, and then I'm willing to look at it because I've been curious. I've seen a lot of old photographs. So anyway, what is this, for example? Sige.
This is a bridge in Ilocos between Bantay and San Ildefonso ba? Yeah. And wala na to, nasira na to, but this is just from the 1830s, the plan for the bridge, no? But right now, we have with Governor Davide, we have set up an exhibit on Cebu, the second exhibit na namin, because every region we really have records and beautiful maps, beautiful drawings.
So you can come up with a book for every region. You have enough materials.
Practically. We don't have as much for Mindanao, but for all the rest, we have a lot of materials.
Antique, meron,
I'm
di
sure
ba?
we can find.
No, do you have Antique?
Well, right now I cannot tell you that. We have 13 million.
Wala kang
records.
ancient bridges or moats and fortresses.
There are ancient people there.
No,
But
I'm
we have
sure,
the oldest language,
yes,
which
I'm
is
sure
the
we can
royal
find
language.
something. Because these are from our Spanish records collection, and we have about 13 million pages of Spanish records. No, continue, and then we will be doing exhibits. So this is based what we're actually the look of the building. It very much resembles the Archivo de las Indias in Spain. So we will use that as an inspiration. This is an exhibit in the Archivo de las Indias, no? And so we're trying to point out.
Do you have Malabon? Archives
yeah,
of Malabon,
I think
I'm
so.
sure.
I think we have some records, no? Yeah. Yes, it shows that there was flooding noon pa, no? Yung sa flood nga, sa Cebu, we found out that there was, the reason nagkaka-flood din sa Cebu, in the center of Cebu, there used to be a lake. According to our old maps, no?
Appeared.
Yeah.
How interesting. That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Yung mga dati,
Things like that we
reclaim nila or dahil na lang sa basura or what?
They're using it already as land, no?
O tinan mo, kaya na, it explains, kaya nababaha.
Yes,
Dahil lake yun dati, ngayon ay puro bahay na,
Yes,
wala
yes.
nang daluyan ng tubig.
Yeah.
Ayun.
So, this aspect of
O sa lugar na to.
this this aspect of exhibits, this aspect of exhibit is one of the reasons why sinoport talaga kami ng DBM, because it will become a tourist attraction, no? Next slide. And then we are also in charge of the electronic record system of the government, the shift to electronics. So the archive center will be a center for this program, no? Next slide. But precisely, this will also lift the morale of, yan, that's from Tacloban. And that's the records managers really need a boost in their morale, no? Oh, in Tacloban. So, hopefully, with a new building like this, it will also help in the morale boosting, no? And then will be the center for disaster recovery and things like that. Next. Another archive that will be part of this is that yung smaller minorities, so even Panay has these minorities, no, yung mga sulud, no. But we are now doing workshops in minority areas, in areas with the smaller ethno-linguistic groups like the Ifugao. This one is a workshop in Mayawyao on how to recover their records, or what would they want to record of their history, because to make and put it into an archive. So we're doing this. Exactly. So we're and Singapore archive is helping us train on oral histories, no? So this is pilot namin was with Baguio, no? Next. So ito na yung first floor. You can see that the left side there's a very big museum that's gonna go up together as one of the facilities, because we want to show these records to the country. Yes. We want to make an exhibit. So that's the main feature of the first floor, and a reading room and some offices. Hindi pa, it's only this year, no? Yeah. Next slide, please. But we can do a big exhibit of records. We can do it in the Met Museum or in some other museum. Huh? Exactly. We're also recovering records from Spain. We're now finalizing an agreement with Spain. Yes, sir. He did go to Spain and Mexico. We are now we've already signed a contract with Mexico to recover their records.
Can you have a beautiful archival exhibit for APEC? So it can be
it will probably be done in the Met Museum. Possible also, but they will have their own programs already, no? Yeah. And then I'll even maybe we can find something in the Senate or in the House, no? But if there is going to be an activity, we can do it there, no? And then the second floor.
Whet the appetite of people on
Yes.
archival documents of the archives.
Yes.
Why don't you have an exhibit here?
Yes, we can do that.
During the budget hearing, ang daming tao dito palagi.
We can do that.
Maglagay ka rito just to
Yeah.
whet the appetite of
Yes,
people.
yes. And then the second floor is mostly offices, no? And then the third floor is where the records are kept. These are the Spanish records of the Philippines, no? Because this building has been assigned to the Spanish records, but there will also be other records in it, no? And then you can see that the records are on the third floor para ligtas talaga sa baha.
Yung DPWH, meron daw silang records dati ng plano ng Maynila at pati yung sewage at yung kaganda.
We are
Why don't you get it from
We've
them?
written them to talk about getting them back, and we're planning to declare them as national cultural treasures. No. It's still we've written the secretary. We've been negotiating with him. And nandun yung mga plans ng lahat ng mga buildings from the. Yes. Next slide. So, the first phase, Your Honor, the first phase will be about 478 million. Okay, I'll do that. Next, so that's oh, so this is ito na, it was the first 478. Next, please. And then, so with your help, that ruin will be how on top is how it looks now, and below this, we're working with schema for the planning. Can you please stand?
I have a question. If you don't paint it yellow, what is the original stone? Is it adobe?
It's a mixture of adobe and
If it's adobe, why do you have to paint it? Why can't it be?
Because that's the original coloring, based on research.
The one on top is natural color.
Yeah, and so the under is the natural coloring. You know, all these buildings were actually painted very bright colors. Kasi Victorian period ito.
But the one on top looks like natural adobe.
Yes. But we want to bring it back to how it looked in the Spanish
It's not
period.
how it was before.
No. What it looked like before is the one below, based on research.
It was yellow based on
Yes.
research. In what
Remember,
year?
In the 19th century, all the way to the early. You know, remember that many of these buildings were built at a time when, after they had just discovered the ruins of the Domus Aurea in Rome, which were all bright, and then they found in that building that all these frescoes with very bright colors. Kinopya yan ng mga Europeans.
It was not just plain adobe.
Yes, so
It was really
became
yellow.
the rage to color
Okay.
houses and buildings like this.
How did you know? There were no photos then?
There was descriptions and there were trace elements. Oh.
So that it doesn't
Yeah.
look gaudy.
And with this, by the way, I think the most important thing, right now we are the only ASEAN archive that does not own its own building. So finally, with this, we will have our own. No?
Who are your architects or heritage conservationists?
We're working with Mr. Gerald Dico is their main consultant.
The heritage
From UP,
conservationists?
From UP, yes.
They're trained to do this.
Yes, yes.
Are they here? Are they here? No.
Gerald isn't here. Yeah.
Just to suggest, Escuela Talier does heritage, you know,
Yes, yes,
Escuela
of course,
Talier,
yes.
yes. In case you would need their expertise, not only their architects, but the skilled out-of-school youths that they've trained
Yes.
from their workshops, they're just nearby. You can use
We'll
them.
work with them for the actual construction.
For the actual
Yeah.
construction, yes,
Oh.
okay. And Governor Sally, Tita Sally will help connect you with Escuela Talier.
Yes.
Tita, ha?
Okay. We'll do that. Sige. So,
Speaking, personal request, I would like to see your archives for my home city.
for Region 6.
Gawa mo
If
na
you
siya ng
can,
libro.
if you first, I'd like to see it first, huh? Because I'd like to appreciate it.
Yes.
And so if you have assembled it in your place, don't bring it anywhere. I'll go there. Just notify me. I'd like to see.
Isama na rin ako, I want to see it. Isama mo na rin kung meron lang ang Antique
Yeah.
and or Malabon and or San Pablo, Laguna.
I underscore kung mayroon.
Oo, sabi. O kung meron, San Pablo, Malabon, Antique, meron yun naman siguro.
Yes. Yes, I'd be that's my home region as well, so I'm very, very interested. Yeah.
You see the kind of people that we have? This is not from Iloilo, not from Antique.
Well, my grandfather was born in a clan, no? My great-grandfather. Kabulugid ko, itigda, gid ko yung mga Ilonggo. Sige.
UP yan eh, he was my classmate.
Kaiwan ko
Schoolmate.
lang.
Where does he look young?
Uy, 1 year older nga si
Wala
Ino.
na ng book eh.
At saka, he's the one who's into conservation in Bohol. Oo.
Kawawa naman yung buhol mo.
Di ba, you actually adopted or bought an old structure that he made.
I restored an old house, which is now a puppet
He's
show.
doing it on his,
We hold puppet show.
Naapektuhan kayo, hindi? Hindi naman.
Naapektuhan, but we were able to recover.
Okay. Ayan, full support. Ilang
Thank
libro
you.
ang gagawin mo? Kung ilang regions, ganun ang ilang libro.
Yes. We just have to bring this out first.
Yeah,
no?
when?
It takes time. It should come out within this year.
And then all the other books. Next
Then,
year.
we'll have to see if we can find funding for the Cebu book.
Anong fine funding? Ito na nga. Lahat na ilagay mo na sa budget amendment. Dadagdagan na. Sabay-sabay na. Why wait for it? Sabay-sabay. Oo.
And that's a great idea. We'll prepare something for the APEC. No?
Yeah. So, number 1, prepare something very simple for him in the month of October because maraming tao dito hanggang Desyembre, estudyante, all the whole government, they're here because of the budget hearings para makaroon ng awareness. Yan. Kasi walang pumapansin. Tingnan mo, kaming dalawa dito sa hearing mo, pero makakamulatan sila. Pangalawa, yung bisita niya, isama mo na ang San Pablo, Malabon at saka Antique. Natatawa ko sa akin. Pangatlo, yung libro mo, hindi, if you find funding, he will put funding in every region. Tapusin mo na. So you launch the Ilocos now, then for first quarter next year, basta within next year, para pamigay niya sa APEC na regalo, ilan yan, na isang set sa APEC, yun ang pangregalo
Kasi
ng
global
Senado.
yan eh. These are
Yeah,
Spanish
exactly.
records in the Philippines.
So, ilagay mo na as budget amendment kung wala sa proposal mo for all the books in all the regions. Ako na bahala.
Thank you.
Nakikinig ba kayo?
Thank you.
Magkano ba yun?
Well, magkano yung book is mga 2 million? About 2 million. Yeah. About 2 million for the book. For
Di ba
each book.
Frank,
So this is just phase one.
Yes, it's about 900 million. It's 3 floors, so 9,000 square meters. The reason that there's a difference in the cost is because it's restoration. So we're using microfiling, and also because we're setting up an archive. We have a special firefighting activity features, fire protection, and then we have micro air conditioning.
these archival materials digitized?
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. We've been digitizing for the past, I think, 3 or 4 years.
No, that's a great gift for APEC, no? From you? Yung mga libro? Yung mga libro, maganda regalo mo sa APEC.
And Senate President, we can also do that exhibit even in Iloilo. We can, if we ever do an exhibit of the regional records of Region 6, it can be held in Iloilo. Because some of these things, because they're maps, no, and pictures.
By June of next year, I'll have a fantastic place that you can exhibit
You
it.
can open with this exhibit.
The convention center. There's a place. There's an exhibition area there.
You can open with this because it. First of all, it's so easy because they are reproductions. No, that we don't have to bring the old record. No, we bring it usually for the opening, or for about a week, and then we bring it back, and we leave the reproductions, and they actually can become the property of the museum or the local government. No?
Giving me an idea. Okay, in the inauguration of the convention center, maybe you'll have an exhibit
Yes,
of how
we'll be happy
Iloilo
to do
was at that time.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Huh?
That's beautiful
Kaya nga
idea.
interesado ako ha. If you're from, since we have a common root, which is the better place than Antique.
Excuse me. Ano, bro?
So I'm not kidding. So show me these things, and then maybe we can use that to in the opening as an exhibit, and have it while the APEC will be there. Hello.
Yes, sure. We'll work with the local school, with UP Visayas.
Perhaps in your exhibit here or in an exhibit in the Metro National Museum, just what the representation of the architecture, the buildings of every region na available sa'yo para may idea ang mga tao. Ay, ang ganda pala na sa Ilocos nun. Ito pala sa Iloilo na, ito pala sa ganun.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm sure marami ka material, but the best.
Yeah.
Oo.
Thank you.
Ayan.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So
I hope, ha?
damo ginasalamat. Mhm.
What is kinaray out of madamo gid nga salamat? Ring is suspended.